Cool. Well, Mike Hay is here with Tallmadge, the Blue Devils, joining us on our Storied Rivals podcast. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day, Coach, to hop on a pod. Yeah, no problem. First of all, want to ask how your summer's been. Obviously things are ramping up, and we're mid-August already, and week one's in a couple weeks. But how was the summer with your family and with the team and everything?
Yeah, busy. Obviously, three kids at home, and trying to be a husband and a father and all that stuff while being a football coach. So, yeah, we get after it pretty good. We got a nice senior class, good leadership, bunch of guys that just love being here. So to ask them to be here 3-4 days a week for running and lifting and doing stuff on their own is not a problem. So pretty excited about the group we got here and ready to watch these guys rock and roll. They've been amping to get the pads on. It was fun to see a different opponent last week for the first time on Friday, and I thought we held our own pretty well, and we're looking forward to one more tune-up and then get after it for real.
Yeah, so before we dive into the team that you have coming back this year, I do want to just kind of talk about you a little bit because you're a graduate of Tallmadge High School, which I think is it's pretty cool that a coach, who he's coaching the team that they played for, and you've been doing it for so long too. I mean, you've been a part of Tallmadge's football program. Obviously, you played there, but then you've been coaching there for over 20 years, almost 25 years at this point. I mean, did you know back then when you graduated that this was where you wanted to be and this is where you wanted to coach? Did it all just kind of happen by accident, or how did it all come about for you when you graduated?
Yeah, I'd say more by accident. So I went off and played in college for 3 years, got hurt, didn't play my senior year, and our head coach at the time, Jeff Moore, called me to ask to, when he found out that I wasn't going to play senior in college, he asked if I wanted to come coach the freshman offense. And I was like, that'd be fun for a year. So kind of did that, and then he left, and Joe Vassilotti came in the next year, and I kind of thought I'd be done because I didn't know Joe very well, but he called me and interviewed me, and then next thing I know, I was a freshman coach again, and fast forward about 20 some years later, and then here we are. So it just kind of happened just by accident a little bit, but mainly we had three head coaches in a 5-year span, and it was more of needing more of a stable community guy that was going to be here for a long time, hopefully, and it's kind of why I got the job, and then here we are. And it's not just me; my entire staff here is full of either guys I've played with or guys that I've coached, which is pretty special. Nobody's looking to use this as a springboard for the next job or whatever. They just love the community. A lot of them live within a mile of the school and spend a lot of time here and put a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of financial backing as well. So we got coaches that care, and it's reflective on how this room operates.
Do you ever look back occasionally, kind of reflect over the last, 20 plus years on like just how crazy it is that, you played here, now you're coaching here? Like, do you ever just kind of reflect on that journey sometimes? You're like, man, like it's pretty crazy how it all worked out.
Yeah, a little bit, especially now when I got kids in the programs. I got a daughter that runs track and cross country here, and she's pretty good. And my son's a freshman. So as you start to see that, it's really come full circle for us as a family, because my kids will be fourth generation graduates here, and a lot of our staff's in the same boat, with kids coming through the same school they went to. It's just, yeah, it's you're in the moment at the time, but when you look back on it, it's when you get a chance to process it, it's pretty cool because you miss it. You miss being out there with your guys and playing the sports. Why we all do it. We're a bunch of competitive guys, SOBs that just want to keep doing this. So, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Now, you've been a part of the track program there as well for a long time too. I mean, I know football off seasons are so complex because you have so many installs to do with your game plans and your play designs, your schemes and everything like that. But then you're incorporating lifting, but then like, obviously you want guys to get faster and get stronger too. I mean, do you incorporate any of the stuff that you do during the track season with your guys during the football off season?
Yeah, we do, definitely. In fact, we work pretty well together, and we share some training equipment and things like that. And we have a very similar mindset. In fact, we just got done doing we do what they call a flying 10 test. It's a full speed sprint between a 10-yard amount. We have these laser cone things that we use or whatever with these little chips that the kids wear, and so the track and football team kind of both share the cost of it, and we both use it, and we both share a very similar philosophy that it's a race, record, publish every week. So we want the kids being timed. We want it to get up on Twitter and everywhere else so they can see it and their friends can see it, and they challenge each other to run faster, and they don't want to, everybody wants to win. They're hooting and hollering when a kid runs the best time of the day and stuff like that. So it's very similar sprint-based training method that the track and football team both share. And there's no accident that our track team has won the last four Silver League championships with that attitude, and then hopefully our football team is soon to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that for sure. Now, you mentioned you had a scrimmage on Friday last week. What's the next scrimmage on the schedule, just to kind of get tuned up?
Yes, we'll be at Streetsboro Thursday night at 6. Nice opponent, team that makes playoffs every single year. Coach Thompson does a great job. They're very well coached. Hard to scheme against. Luckily, we don't over scheme for a scrimmage. We have to worry about it, but they try and formation you to death and use the whole field sideline to sideline and then push your vertical a little bit. So they're physical. They're well coached. So it's a good test for us. Getting ready to ramp up for the first game of the season.
What do you look for in those scrimmages? Because it's really the first, I guess, it's like live bullets kind of for the first time, before week one. I mean, what do you look for? Because obviously you would love to just walk out there and dominate every opponent you scrimmage before week one and be really, really confident about your football team. But obviously there's growing here and there, as you get ready. I mean, what do you look for on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, just as you guys do these scrimmages to really evaluate your team?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I'd probably disagree. I'd probably say we don't want to dominate our opponents. We have something to coach up, afterwards. But it's a two-edged sword there, right? You want to do well and get some confidence, but you don't want to come in over a little cocky afterwards. But yeah, so
Sure.
it's that balancing act between being efficient. We're not going to show a whole lot scheme-wise, right? We're going to be pretty vanilla. We want to find the position battles that we still have going on. Make sure those kids get in the field against each other, playing the same positions at the same amount of reps, and try and get them the same. If they're playing defensive back, try and get them in the same coverage the number of times, or running backs, you want to get the same number of carries, potentially the same type of carries, receiver, all that stuff. So main goal is making sure we get out of there healthy. And then the second goal, make sure we feel confident that we are knowing who our best, 1 and 2 deep players are, coming out of that scrimmage.
So let's go through some of those 1 and 2 deep players then, I guess, like to this point right now. I mean, like guys from last year that are coming back and whatnot. You guys were 5-5 last year, but who, for the Tallmadge faithful out there that are listening or watching this at some point this week, who's returning on both sides of the ball that'll hopefully get you back above 500 and playing well for Tallmadge football this year?
Yeah, so the most notable player probably coming back would be Noah Robinson. He I believe he led the state in sacks last year. Had 24 sacks. He's just a premier edge rusher. Plays so well with his hands. He's tenacious. Just chase down sacks left and right, and he's 15 pounds heavier, stronger, faster, that whole thing. So we're expecting really, really good things from him. Two-way player. He'll play a little more offensively. Last year he had a broken hand for the first 5 weeks of the year, so it pretty much limited him to being a defensive player. And then he got a little bit of offensive time late in the year, but that was able to help him hone his skills defensively, and he became obviously one of the better players in Northeast Ohio, if you ask me. Another big time player for us is Amir Yassine, our right tackle, who's committed to the University of Toledo. About 6'5.5", about 295, playing with a chip on his shoulder and a little bit of edge to him right now, which is awesome. We got a transfer to come back home from St. B this year, Brian Rurick, who's likely going to start at right guard for us, and he's nasty and physical, and him and Amir together form a very nice right side of our line. So two of those guys together are awesome. Sticking up front, Roman Rinaldi at left tackle is essentially a 3-year starter. Started about 4 games as a sophomore, and he's back for his senior year, and he's just gotten better and better every single year. I expect him to play at all conference caliber level this year. Tyler Nicolino inside, playing either guard or center for us. Has had to miss the last 2 seasons with knee injuries. Weight room monster. He's about 6 foot, 250, but just works his tail off 12 months out of the year. And I'm excited to watch him hopefully be healthy for a year. He's probably going to start as a sophomore, and then he sat on the sideline and watched the last 20 games. So I'm really excited to see him have a big time year. Sean Rohr's back, either at starting center or adding offensive line depth. And then Preston Schrock will be our other offensive line guy that plays a lot, along with Mike Sprouse, who's our starting inside linebacker. So all that to say, we have some depth the first time up front, and we're excited about offensively. Caleb Reef-Snyder back at wide receiver. He had 6 touchdowns last year. He's a slippery little 5'6", 150-pound kid that just is really, really hard to cover. He beats you vertical, beats you underneath. He's our little Wes Welker type kid is just I wouldn't want to cover him. Does everything right, can play every position. Football IQ is super high. And then on the other side we got Robbie Reed and Tracy Franklin that are going to play on the opposite side of him that are very talented receivers as well. So that covers most of our offense, and then our running back room will be shared currently between Sonny Kuva, J.D. Knatzer, and Ricky McLean. Three guys really fighting it out. We'll more likely be splitting time, and hopefully we're running the ball 60 to 65% of the time, and it's just next guy up mentality, and hopefully we have games where all three guys run for 75, 80, 100 yards each in a game. That'd be my goal for the season. Defensively is I think where we're going to be pretty good. Sorry to keep just talking here. I'm just flowing pretty well.
Oh, no, please, please, yes.
We feel like the strength of our team is probably our defensive line. We've got about 8 guys that we feel very, very confident rotating in. From Nate Hunheller, 6'3", 240-pound junior defensive end, who I think is going to have a big year. Obviously, Noah Robinson. And then a collection of D tackles that can move in and out between Tallmadge, a two-way D tackle that's 6'4", 250 pounds, and he's a dude. Amir Yassine's going to play some defense. Tyler Nicolino, Brian Rearick, the kid that came back from St. B. He's a 6 foot, 250 pound, just like Tyler, weight room monster, just plays with an attitude and an edge. Preston Schrock as well. Those same guys that play O-line are all going to rotate on the D-line, try and keep those guys fresh there. But we feel like that's the strength of our team. Big, physical, have the right mindset, and hopefully can do well against the run and pass. Mike Sprouse back at middle linebacker. He is a physical, I don't want to say headhunter because that's probably the wrong term to use nowadays, but he is violent, and people know where he is in the field because he looks to be a disruption at all times. And then I think we have a corner coming back, Robbie Reed, that he's young, just turned 16, going to his junior year. I'd say look out. We expect him to be an absolute lockdown, shut down. He's fast. His hips are awesome. He stays glued to receivers very, very well. So we're pretty pumped about not shying away from how good we think he can be.
Definitely. Yeah. No, I love hearing about all the players that you mentioned, because it's great for your fans, obviously, and the people that follow Tallmadge, but it's great for me too, because I just love learning about these guys, and I want to watch these guys this year. So,
yep. And then obviously I did forget to include maybe the most important position on the field. Ryan Lovelace is back for his senior year, started last year, first season as a junior. Up and down season, ended up with a pretty nice year, especially the second half of the year. Played very, very well towards second. I think he had 9 touchdowns last year. We're expecting a very efficient, hopefully, I hate to put numbers on it, but 2,000 yard, 20 touchdown type season, I think would be about what the expectations are for him. And he is one of the best leaders, hardest workers. He can spin it very, very well, and I think we're gonna give him time to throw. And then if we can run the ball as well as I hope we can, then the play action game could be pretty good for us. And he's a very, very good quarterback.
no, it's the thing that I pulled from that is that it sounds like the strength. I mean, you said it. It's the offensive and defensive line. You have so much depth on both of those. You can really rotate guys in and out, and that is a coach's dream. Is if you can have a dominant offensive and defensive line, because you can really, control the game, and that just gives you such an advantage over teams in your league and anyone you play out of league too.
That's our hope. And we have 2 physical tight ends between 3 with Noah, but with Noah Tallmadge and Nate Hunheller, we got 3 guys that can block as well as offensive linemen that are playing tight end for us. So yeah, that's our goal. we certainly hope so, but we'll find out.
Last question before you go, Coach, and I appreciate your time again. But you mentioned that your right tackle committed to Toledo, and I'm sure you've got some other guys that are getting some looks from colleges and whatnot. But how important are those guys to the culture of your team? Because obviously they're going to play, college football at the next level. They're going to, they're pillars of your team. I mean, how important are they to the culture, and how much do they influence some of these younger guys that you have coming in every year to kind of continue the Tallmadge brand of football the right way?
Absolutely, it is, and we hate to make the goal to be college football because some of that's out of your hands. If you're an inch too short, you run a 40 a 10 too slow, or you're 10 pounds too light, or some schools are going to like you, some schools aren't going to like you, but we want that to be the goal of every kid to earn the favor of certain college coaches and want them to come in here and look at them. And what it's helped us is that there's no shortage of college coaches coming through our doors every offseason. We ran a little combine this year, just us because we couldn't be involved in the Akron area one because of the timing of it. But just kind of put the word out there and had 13, 14 college coaches, a lot of D1 coaches show up just to watch our kids work out. So it shows our kids that you don't have to leave the community to go get looks. And then and it's really nice that the kids that we've got, we've got currently, I want to say about 7 kids currently playing college football. One at the University of Illinois, and he's back here working with our receivers in the offseason. Our quarterback from 2 years ago comes in and he's throwing the ball to our kid at Illinois, Colin Dixon, and he's also throwing it to our kids that are here, and they're teaching them, they're learning them. We were in here going over all signals for our offensive staff, and we got college guys in here telling us what they do at Illinois. And we got guys playing other places, and they're in here helping us out, and that's awesome. And so it's just it's what we want to turn into. We want every year 3, 4, 5, 6 guys is something that they want to go play at the next level, have that opportunity to. And I think we're going to get some more of that this year for sure.
Coach, I appreciate you taking time out of your day, man, between practices and whatnot to hop on a pod for 10, 15 minutes and promote Tallmadge football. And I'm looking forward to watching you guys play this year, and hopefully you guys get it back above 500, back in the playoff mix, and do some damage this year, man. So thanks a lot for hopping on.
We appreciate it.